My unit, salute, amped up on this Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. And we got a jacked, packed, stacked show coming at you today. Just 15 days away, believe it or not, from SummerSlam. 15 days, 2 weeks. It doesn't seem it, I know. It doesn't feel like SummerSlam because you have all of these other pay-per-views, premium live events just being tossed at us left and right, one after the other. Night of Champions, Money in the Bank, Saturday night's main event, Evolution. Now they're all in the rear view, but now it's SummerSlam in 2 weeks. Not just one night, but 2 nights. And you're not going to be able to digest SummerSlam because 2 to 3 weeks later is Clash in Paris. There's just zero time to build anything properly or to build anything at all. And that's why you see just matches that lead to matches, triple threats, fatal fours, mini tournaments, battle royals, you name it, gauntlets, and whoever wins, they'll go to the pay-per-view to take on the champion. And that's for the titles that are allowed on the pay-per-view. Most titles these days change hands on Raws and SmackDowns. So if the company is not going to treat the titles as prestigious and the champions as prestigious, why would the fans? Subconsciously, we wouldn't. And so with all these events, SummerSlam is in 2 weeks, and there is an entire night's worth, because it's 2 nights, an entire night's worth of matches unannounced. And I'm pretty sure they have no idea what those matches are going to be. Could you imagine paying all of that money, thousands of dollars for a MetLife ticket to see SummerSlam, and you don't even know what matches are going to be on the card? I don't even know if they have one full night. I believe they have at least maybe 6 to 7 matches. It's 2 nights, though. And you're in 2 weeks away. But come on, man. If you're buying a ticket, I'd be pretty pissed off. It's what happened at WrestleMania, and you would think they would have learned their lesson. No time. There's no time to even think about SummerSlam until now, probably, because you have Saturday night's main event, Night of Champions, Money in the Bank, Evolution. You're trying to counter-program All In and AEW with all your NXT product. And then you wake up and you go, oh, SummerSlam's in 2 weeks. If you're Hunter Hearst Helmsley, if you're suits and ties, that's what's happening. Anyway, that's not how I was going to start off this Friday edition of Amped Up. But it just dawned on me that we are 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. Back in the day, man, you had a whole season to really get excited about SummerSlam. Now it's amazing. It's just like, whoa, we're 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. And they made it bigger now, right? A second night. So it's more of a money grab with less of the care. Think about that. They're taking more from you and they're giving you less. Anyway, let's say, listen, it's the opening monologue. It's the cold open teaser. I can go every which way. I can go off the tracks if I want. In today's show, we're going to talk Damian Priest, a good conversation on celebrities in pro wrestling, more specifically WWE. Damian Priest opening up about how he feels about celebrities and why I do feel this is a good PC answer, right? He's a pro wrestler. He's a WWE superstar, so he has to toe that line. So I don't mind this answer. I understand it. On the flip side, on the other hand, it's the completely wrong answer. And BC's going to, legit, as I always am, to the amplified of degrees, I'm going to give you the honest answer about celebrities in pro wrestling, more specifically WWE. The bigger question, not just is there too many celebrities in WWE these days? Are they taking too many spots that could be given to an actual talent? The bigger question is, should Paul Levesque McMahon, Hunter Hearst Helmsley be fanboying out this hard for all of these celebrities? We're also going to talk Rhea Ripley speaking out about the filming of Unreal. More talent is starting to come out and talk how these are quotes, bizarre, awkward, and weird. Having cameras pick up the every detail that they're trying to go over with the superstar they're about to have a match with. Imagine that. They're trying to go over their match. They're trying to protect the business. These cameras are around because they're trying to expose the business. Think about it. The talent is telling you they're uncomfortable with this filming. They don't know what to do or what they should really say because they're even if it's subconsciously, they're trying to protect the business while the boss is trying to expose it. You tell me what's wrong with that scenario. The talent is trying to protect it. The boss is trying to expose it. That's why I say this is Hunter Hearst Helmsley's Unreal show, not WWE, because to say it's an ego trip would be an understatement. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon can no longer be the superstar in the ring creating the illusion. Can't wrestle anymore. So he's not the one creating the illusion on the actual shows anymore. So now he's going to be the star of the one exposing the illusions on Unreal. But either way, he'll be the star. He's going to make sure of it. He used to be creating the illusions. Now he's the one exposing them. But the talent is telling you something just doesn't feel right about this show. We'll talk about it. And AEW Dynamite, I have the number for this week. This was a highly anticipated number. Even individuals that don't, or they self-proclaim they don't care about ratings, and they try to tell everyone else that they shouldn't either, just enjoy the wrestling. Well, even they were very interested to see if AEW carried that momentum from All In. Because most of us can say after last weekend, All In took the top spot in terms of wrestling shows. Because WWE tried to flood them out. WWE tried to chip away and counter-program. But it didn't work. NXT, Great American Bash, and Saturday Night's Main Event, and Evolution, they all fell to AEW All In. It was the best show, and Evolution tucked in at number 2, not Saturday Night's Main Event, not the main roster, not the boys. Evolution came in at 2, and then by process of elimination, Saturday Night's Main Event tucked in at 3, and that's because Great American Bash didn't fulfill anybody's desires. I'm pretty sure there was a local bingo hall wrestling show that probably could have took the 4th spot, but we'll put Great American Bash there. But absolutely, All In won the weekend. So a lot of fans were saying the same thing. Whether you're a diehard AEW fan or a casual, you were saying AEW has to produce one of their best shows this Wednesday. Did they do that? I put up a full review of Dynamite yesterday. It was the most honest review you're going to get in this community. And when it was all said and done and the number came out, I was right. Everything I said in that review, I was correct. I'm not only going to give you the totality review, I'm going to give you the number that they started with. And I'm going to show you that everything that was being said about AEW, which I thought it was a decent show, actually. The matches I didn't quite understand, nor did I care for, but they did enough in the promos and the backstage segments and setting some stuff up, made it beyond watchable. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was A, good, or B, carried any momentum from All In. And sure enough, the number tells the whole story. So we're going to go over it. And a lot of fans, even AEW, tried and true fans from AEW, they were like, that wasn't it, Tony. You could have done better than that. We'll go over the number. It's drastic to see what they started with and what they ended up. And that's what happens if you don't put together the best show imaginable at a time where you had to do that. AEW has went through a really rough patch this past year. Saturday, you just felt like the tides have turned the other way finally. But in order to keep that going, Wednesday had to produce on a whole nother level. You guys know that, man. This was a huge Wednesday. That's why I'm spending so long on the opening monologue with it. It's so big, and it's so damn frustrating to see it pull that number. Because like when we were reviewing it yesterday, you saw all the issues that they could have switched up. You know, when we were talking about it yesterday, before we even knew the number, I told you all of the concerns I had with that show. We'll talk all about it, man. Damian Priest and the celebrity conversation, Rhea Ripley opening up about her filming for Unreal, AEW Dynamite, it's all coming up, man. I got a Lavazza coffee. I love my Lavazza. Only time I get to have Lavazza these days is when I'm getting a Paris baguette coffee. Those are pretty popular in New York, if you guys know what a Paris baguette is. But other than that, I haven't had a cup of Lavazza in a long time. So the Lavazza's rocking. BC's fully amped. I know my unit is. Smash that up. Let BC know you're fully amped up. Not just supporting the channel, but BC knows you're fully amped. And I'm going to give it a big swig of this. And we're going to jump into the Damian Priest conversation, if you guys don't mind. So Damian Priest says this about celebrities in WWE. Damian says, and I quote, "When I was a fan, I was like, these guys are taking spots from the actual wrestlers. But now that I'm on the other side, I totally get it. And it's really cool to think of all these new eyeballs that will be on the product and all these new eyeballs watching me wrestle. End quote. BC's first, and I want you to know, that is a PC safe answer from an actual wrestler in the company. So I don't mind that at all. That's exactly what Damian Priest, it's exactly what Damian Priest should be saying. And he said it. No problem with it. Now let's get to I'm not a pro wrestler for WWE, so I can drop the reality of it. And the facts are that is the wrong answer. Celebrities in WWE have to be utilized correctly and sporadically. Today's WWE focuses too much on the celebrity, and they have this need, this desire to have celebrities in order to feel valid. It's this need for validation that comes from Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that's the problem, because my question would be, where are the eyeballs that Damian Priest is talking about? I could see if a Bad Bunny or a roll of jelly or any of these Netflix D-list actors that are coming in and punching out a wrestler, I could see if they're actually bringing in eyeballs. I definitely could see that. All of a sudden, Raw jumped up 300,000 viewers because, Celebrity X just showed up. Cool. I totally would understand that. Business actually popped off because of it. The ratings go backwards, and I'm not just blaming the celebs, but that shows you how nobody cares. It shows you that fans of Jelly Roll are not going, he's a WWE, and they're going to watch the product. Unfortunately, you'd like to think that's what's happening. If you're a fan of I'm just using Jelly Roll as an example, by the way. You would think that if you're a fan, you're going to follow everything they're doing. I understand, but it doesn't translate. It doesn't work that way. Numbers are going backwards with all of these celebrities and this influx of celebrities. The problem with this, too, is that forget the fact that they're actually not bringing in eyeballs. The numbers are telling us that. That right there is a problem. So all of these celebrities show up and they don't move the needle. But forget that for a second. Forget that. How they're utilized is what fans have more of a problem with. They're just ushered out there, and because they're a celebrity, we're all supposed to just devour the bullshit stew that Helmsley is serving up. We're supposed to take the plate, eat it, and go, thank you. Or please, sir, can I have some more? But we're not supposed to trash it or raise concerns over it, because then you're not a real fan. We're just supposed to... I blinked. Maybe I had a sip of coffee and Jelly Rolls in a SummerSlam match. I blinked. What did I miss? He threw some punches with Logan Paul over the course of a couple of dates, and all of a sudden there's a SummerSlam tag team match. Randy and Jelly Roll versus Logan and McIntyre. What? Where? How? Huh? How the heck did that pop off? Weird. Jelly Roll, just in Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. I am a New York Knicks fan. I love Jalen Brunson. That's our captain. Tried and true. Okay, it goes back to, like, if you're a Jelly Roll fan, are you going to follow him over to WWE? Listen, I'm a huge Jalen Brunson fan, and I'm already a pro wrestling supporter, so you would think I would love this. No, I know Jalen Brunson's personality and his charisma level and where he's best suited and his comfort levels. No, Jalen Brunson should not be in WWE taking on Tyrese Halliburton in a random tag match, because that's what's going to happen in the future, No. Tyrese Halliburton is a string bean. He's a string bean. He's a tall, lengthy string bean. And Jalen Brunson is the opposite, charisma-wise and personality-wise. I love the guy, I do. He's our quiet captain. But no, he should not be having a tag team match in World Wrestling Entertainment. But that's what you're gonna get, because Helmsley is just drooling over Tyrese Halliburton. And he's just obsessed with the idea of Pat McAfee getting in the ring again, man, because he knows that clip will be played on ESPN with his show. Pat McAfee was wrestling. It didn't bring anybody... Monday Night Raw is bringing in its lowest numbers. And the D-list celebrities that we all have to put up with every Monday, right? Whatever Netflix show is about to be. Here's the whole front row. We're zooming in on all the celebrities, and they're like, yeah, I'm at WWE. You can tell they don't know who all the wrestlers, they don't know any other wrestlers, unless their name is like John Cena or Hulk Hogan from 30 years ago. And there's the show, right? They're promoting the show. And what is this doing? We're spending 10 minutes every Monday on these numbnuts. And when it's all said and done, WWE feels like the side chick. We talked about it, was it yesterday's upload or the day before? We were talking about McAfee being exhausted because he has all these other things. So when he has to drop something, what is it usually? It's WWE first thing, and then the only thing. He drops WWE because we're just the side chick. WWE's the last thing on Pat McAfee's totem pole. So if you hit a wall, he's exhausted. Sorry, WWE. The celebrity thing has to be sporadic, and it has to be in a valuable way. But it can't be for validation. And we have to stop acting and saying under the guise of it's bringing in eyeballs. It's pop culture. Not at the detriment of pro wrestling or the detriment of the company. But I don't think they care anymore. With shows like Unreal, they're willing to expose everything. Be the side chick and be the laughing stock of the entire entertainment industry. They don't care. As long as they can make a buck on the way out. I mean, we talk about it all the time. They have advertisements on top of advertisements. The day is coming soon where you're going to see Morgan and Morgan in the middle of the ring with Maybelline on top of it, Tide detergent on top of that, and Snickers. And then you're going to see a lawsuit from Logan Paul because Prime Energy was supposed to be on top of the Maybelline and the Tide and it's just stacking on top of one another. You don't even know what to eat anymore. Wingstop in the corner, Snickers over here, Slim Jim right in the middle. You have fucking one of those corn chips in the lower left, fucking Cocoa Puffs in the bottom right. Who knows? Post cereal. It's out of control, man. It's out of control. The company has, there's no more focus on the actual product and making it prestigious and putting value into your product and what you are doing and what you're putting out there. The celebrities and the advertisements and the nauseating need for validation. This company it's I can't even say a shell of what it once was. I don't even recognize this WWE. I don't even recognize it. They have totally pimped itself out, and I knew that when it got bought, I knew that a lot of this was going to take place, but I was hoping creatively and prestige level wise that this company was going to be better off. But Helmsley took total reign. Helmsley showed from the jump that he just didn't care about any of this. He didn't care about spending a 1 minute on creative. Unless cameras are rolling for Unreal. Then he's going to act like the chief of creative and content and human resources. The cameras are on. Now I'm the chief of everything. This is how we do it in the writing room. This is the war room here. This is where we put all our ideas together. Bring a couple cameras. I'm going to tell Jey Uso I'm putting the rocket on him. But if there's no cameras, absolutely not. He's not spending a damn minute in that office. You add on TKO pimping everything out for a buck. It's a recipe for disaster. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is just another stooge in the TKO wheel. And he's not just fine with that. He's one of the head stooges in the TKO wheel. We're going a little off track here, man. This all started with celebrities. But yeah, it's always been a part of pro wrestling. They will always have a place in pro wrestling, celebrities. So I'm not saying that. They absolutely will and should. But sporadic and with purpose. Because without that, you have too often and with no purpose. And that's where we are now. Wrestlers, celebrities, athletes are just showing up, knocking out wrestlers, having pay-per-view matches. What are we doing? And AEW has to be careful because they're not that far off, man. You got a Costco guy. I saw his son, the Costco guy's son. What is his name? AJ Baboom Boom? He delivered a spear. A spear. He knocked a wrestler out with a spear. You got Goldberg complaining that nobody should be doing the spear when he takes off but Braun Breaker. But little AJ Boom, a kid, is knocking wrestlers out. I don't know, man. I don't know. Celebrities and all that. If there's a purpose and you truly think it's going to bring in some eyeballs, okay. That's where I'll leave that conversation. Swig of my Lavazza coffee, and I want to talk some Rhea Ripley, talking Unreal and how she's just not comfortable with it. Many talents have been speaking out, saying the same thing. So the talent is trying to protect the business. The boss is trying to expose it. Yeah, that's not good. So Rhea Ripley says, bizarre, awkward, weird feeling recording Unreal and talking to the wrestlers that she's about to have a match with, but the cameras are on her. So Rhea says she doesn't know what to say. Am I do I act the same way that I would if the cameras are gone? I feel like I should be protecting like some of it? But I know they want me to just expose it all. Rhea Ripley is saying the same thing we've been hearing by a lot of talents. It's uncomfortable, and they don't feel right about it. I know they're supposed to give it all. They're supposed to just give it all away. All the tricks. This is the time to peel it all back. Right? The company's probably selling within the next 2 years. Helmsley is definitely out within the next 2 years. So now's the time to just burn it all to shit. But the talent just doesn't feel right doing that. And that is so good to hear, man. I'm not a huge Rhea Ripley fan, of course. You guys know that. But this is one of those stories I'm actually pleasantly surprised to hear. Usually when Rhea Ripley's name pops up, she's like fighting with fans and not happy with fans and telling them what to do. I hear you. Sometimes it's validated. Sometimes it's just like it's better off to just leave it alone. But this was a story where I'm like, yes, good. Talk about it. Talk about, like, because more wrestlers have to say, like, this doesn't feel right. Like we're, if you're doing something and it really feels like it's wrong, it's probably wrong. She's trying to go over her match. All these cameras are trying to get every freaking word in, every detail. It affects how you do your craft, man. It affects your job. If you're like if you're a world-renowned chef and you take a job at the Bellagio or some nice casino in Las Vegas and they're paying you a lot of money and you have all these awesome recipes, and the Bellagio, they want to film a new show, right? And they're going to just show you all the inner linings of the casino, and all these cameras are going to be in the kitchen and they're going to show all your recipes. You don't want to show your recipes, man. That's your shit. So if you don't mind, like, I'll show you the meal afterwards. But no, all the cameras are right there, man. They want the recipe. They're right. No, but I don't. Some of these wrestlers, they just want to keep how they do things, man. That's their thing. It's wild to me that the wrestlers feel that this is just bizarre, awkward, weird. They're uncomfortable. And the boss, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, is like, yeah, it's going to be great, man. Unreal. We're just going to pull back the curtain. I think it's time to expose it all. Of course you do, because you can't do it anymore, numbnuts. But you still want to be the star of the show because your ego is bigger than, it's right up there. I assure you, it's right up there with Hulk Hogan, brother. So if you want to call her Becky Hogan or Rhea Hogan, I hope you're also thinking Becky Helmsley? Rhea Levesque? Trust me, the ego's massive. Probably bigger than the schnoz. And he is going to expose his business because he can no longer do it. So if he can't do it and he still has to be the star of the show, he'll take you behind the scenes to what he now does. He wants to show you that he's the one behind the curtain running Oz. He's the Wizard of all of Oz. And I'm going to show you everything that I do. I'm going to show you how I'm the new Vince McMahon. Yeah, it should piss you off. It should piss you off that the talent is uncomfortable with this shit. The talent feels weird and it's all bizarre and awkward. These are quotes from talent. And the boss is like, nah, it'll be fine. We'll expose it all. It'll be fun. We need to fill some content for Netflix. We'll do it at the industry's expense. Yeah. Rhea and all these talents that are finally speaking out, you should feel a little awkward about it. You should feel like you're probably doing something that's not quite right because it's not quite right. AEW's rating after another sip of Labaza, if you don't mind. So NXT pulled in, what did NXT get, guys? I think that was 586K. Very low. MLB All-Star Game, I understand, but the product just sucks right now. NXT, they're trying to do too much. They're bringing in Evolve, a bunch of kids with nothing, no personality, charisma, no reason to care. They're bringing in LFG, which is reality show participants, acting like wrestlers, because that's what they are. I mean, they're still so new. They're trying to be a wrestler, but they're on your NXT primetime on Tuesday night. And then some time gets taken for the TNA partnership, bumping up Slammiversary. I don't recognize this NXT. And the numbers showing you that if you do have an all-star game, baseball, this is the biggest number that the all-star game has pulled in years, I believe. So that shows you that they went out of their way to watch baseball because NXT was so damn bad. So AEW, I did say this. I said it was a decent show, but I don't know if it was enough, and I just did not feel like it was enough to carry the momentum from All In. So I said, you're probably going to have a pop-off at the start of the show, a pretty decent number. For what they pull in on an average, decent number. And then, unfortunately, you're probably going to see a drop-off. So I said, was it enough to beat NXT? And I said, I think it was. It'll be interesting to see how much. Guys, AEW pulled 588K before Max. I will add that in a second, in a minute. 588 up front. TNT, TBS, that whole deal. 588. They beat NXT by 2,000 viewers. Now, if you add in Max, we believe it's always 40 to 60,000, depending on the situation. In this case, All In, so it wouldn't be the bottom. I don't feel comfortable giving it a full 60 either. So I would say roughly 52. That sounds fair. There's never an accurate number on that. Max doesn't distribute. So we just crack it by the means in which we do, which is the most accurate cracking of numbers you could come up with. And what we came up with is 40 to 60. So we just kind of depend on the situation, in case you're wondering. So 52 would be 640, correct? 588, put in 52. Yeah, 640. So they would have beaten NXT by approximately, I will say approximately, 54,000 if you add in Max. So with Great American Bash being what I thought was a complete bust, if not complete, a bust, and All In absolutely taking the weekend, if you would have said that they were only going to be 50,000 more in the rating and then the number, I would have said that's not good for AEW. And if you're NXT, you'll take that to the bank. You won't look back. And again, without the Max number, 588 to 586. Now, if you guys were wondering, this is the interesting part. They started out over 750,000 viewers. That's not just a lead-in. That's people sticking around to see, hey, should we stick around for this show? They wanted to see if the momentum was going to carry through. If this, on paper, up front, was a good show to stick around for. And they were told that Kyle Fletcher was going to have a singles match. That led to nothing. Okada was going to have a singles match. That led to nothing. If you blink, you miss the entire match. A couple of multi-men schmaz matches. an 8-man tag to set up a 6-man tag. And for the ladies, a 4-person schmaz, 4-way for $100,000 just to put something on the line. If it seems random, it's fucking random. I don't know what Tony Khan was thinking. I really don't. This was such a big Dynamite. And everything else was clicking. I called it a decent show because I like the Hangman promo. I like Cope's promo. I love the Hurt Syndicate backstage promo. That was only like a minute and a half. I like the best part for me was a quick little Young Bucks getting out of an Uber segment and just them fucking with the Bucks and changing their locker room sign, and they had no pyro when they came out. Little things like that. Just character work throughout the night for the Young Bucks. Like things like that. There was enough of that for me to call this a decent show, but I didn't go as far as to say good because I knew the wrestling matches were weird, and I knew most fans, a lot of AEW fans, were questioning if this was the best show that Tony could have put forward, and it wasn't. And you knew that, and I knew that. That's why decent was as far as I was going with this Wednesday's Dynamite, and you could not produce a decent show this week. You couldn't even produce a good show. You had to produce a great show because this is where AEW stands up after All In and says, "We are back, bitches." And they didn't do it. This number shows you that people, over 750 started. Still a low number, absolutely. AEW's average just a couple years ago was 950. They couldn't quite hit the million, but they stuck it around that 950 for a long time. So 750 as your top end, yes, that's low. We know that. Baby steps to try to get back to where you once were. But 750 is still 750 when your average has been around 6 some odd. And then they fell to 588. Again, with Max, I think that's about 640. But it's still over 100,000 drop off in totality. So actually, if you were to add the max total on top of, because that 750 would be TBS TNT. So that would put it over 800,000 in viewership. Guys, I didn't even put that up in the notes or think about that. You'd have to throw the max to the beginning. 800,000. So they would have cracked 8. So to go to 640, you still lost $150 to 200,000 viewers during the show. Coming off one of your most highly rated shows, All In, just days earlier. I hope you guys understand that this is why we talk passionately about these subjects and about numbers, because you have to change that for the future. We hoped Tony Khan learned the lesson this time because he's done this in the past and he can't follow it up in the future because they do pay-per-views really good. So there's going to come another time where AEW knocks a grand slam on a pay-per-view. I have faith that they will do that. Come strong on the following Wednesday, man. You come hitting for the fences, and you make sure that you do it when the bases are loaded, coming off of a really good pay-per-view. I keep wanting to say premium live. I'm not going to let WWE do that. Pay-per-view. Especially in talking AEW, we can say that. Coming off of a really good pay-per-view, you got the bases loaded. Dynamite is when you hit the Dynamite Grand Slam. That's unacceptable, man, that number. And that show, just come on, man. Like on paper, nobody in that company stepped back and go, is this the best way to carry that momentum? You didn't think a lot of people were going to tune in from All In? I don't know, man. I just don't, mind-boggling. I don't understand that show. Yeah, I don't understand this. I'm trying to understand. I really am. I'm trying to like what kind of, maybe Tony was thinking this or maybe he was thinking that. I don't know. But 588 to 586 NXT and AEW, man, just like that. And let's be honest, no matter what, you could talk about the baseball game affecting it. You could talk about the max numbers. Guys, these are drastically, tragically low numbers. Catastrophically low numbers. It makes you question, like, what? This is what I mean when people go, man, wrestling is booming in 2020. No. I wish it was, man. I really do. This tells you this is not about streaming numbers or who has cable or who's cord cutting or who's just watching highlights. All of that is the issue. The fact that there's even fans that can choose to watch 4 minutes of highlights over the shows is one of the biggest problems. The fact that they don't have the need to watch these two shows because it ain't must-see TV. And don't get me started with Raw and SmackDown. You know my thoughts on that. That's what I got for you. Amped Up Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. I promised you we'd talk a little bit about SmackDown before we went off the air, so let's do that. One big segment planned tonight. It's all I know about. It's all I want to know about. Jonathan Cena versus Codithan Rhodes at SummerSlam. The big contract signing is tonight. Again, WWE's big problem is they have 2 nights of SummerSlam in just 2 weeks. They only have, I don't even know if it's full yet, but only 1 night of matches announced. They have 2 weeks, and they have to announce a whole nother night of matches. Sound familiar? This is what everybody was bitching about around WrestleMania. It didn't feel like Mania season. The company seemed like they were chucking matches last minute left and right. Fans didn't have a chance to care about anything. Not that there was anything to care about. So, as a community, for the first time ever, I saw us all step up. The whole community told Hunter Helmsley, dude, you botched WrestleMania. And remember what Helmsley said? If you don't like it, you're not a real fan and you can fuck off. Well, here we are at SummerSlam. We're going into that show with record lows on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Record low numbers. I guess they fucked off. Anyway, until next time, and there will be that next time. That is a wrap. BC saying check you. Salute, unit.